You good?
I'm good.
Well, all right then. You good? Well, all right then. Welcome to the Free Noise Podcast, a podcast where it's free form and the topics form freely. I am one of your podular hosts, Eric, and this is my brother, the other host.
Deontay, welcome.
Welcome, we welcome you here. So, for a while now, we've been talking about this project and starting a podcast. This has been something that's been on both our minds for quite some time. So we finally just had to just do it.
Let's just be real. How long we been talking about doing this?
Man, dog.
We can get real with it, man.
Man,
Analysis paralysis is a real thing.
I'm gonna say about 5 years.
5?
Is it 5?
I almost said some names. Since we were with what's the name? I think it was more than 5 years, bro.
5 years plus.
Since we've been talking, since right after talking about Planet Punch.
Right, and then COVID, yeah. So it's been more than 5 years.
8 years, 8-9 years.
Yeah, but yeah, with this podcast, we just plan to, sonically talk about a lot of things, whether it's random or things that nobody wants to talk about, things you guys may find interesting. If you hear any weird noises, that's my neighbor upstairs. He's like a mad scientist. I don't know what he be doing. I ain't gonna ask too much because I'm gonna mind my business. And my neighbor next door, he shouts randomly. So if you hear anything, that's them. That ain't me. So
like you said, look, we just starting it off. For 9 years, 8 years, we had the analysis paralysis.
Yeah,
we had that. That's a real thing. So if you asking what took us so long, man, something just told us to get into it, press record, and just get straight to it.
And if you guys have any suggestions in the comments, leave us below. Like and subscribe for sure. But leave us any suggestions you have. We're open to criticism, constructive criticism. What you guys want to hear from us, any takes, any opinions you want to hear from us, just shout out, reach out to us. So
we could take constructive criticism. But don't come with that dungeon because eat a cookie. Oh, it's Get Fried Friday too. So anybody want to call in, come in and have a roast session with E, man. At your own risk. At your own risk.
Don't put me in that. So so one of the things that we me and my bro, we've been bros for a long time. Like if you see me, you see him. If you see him, you see me. Like we are like Mario and Luigi. He look like Luigi, but but we like Mario and Luigi. You know what I'm saying? And
let that slide.
But we like Mario and Luigi, and for a long time we just always had these conversations, like since we were children, just going off and off and off, and so we figured having a podcast is basically like natural to us. So I'm gonna start out with something that a lot of people don't talk about, and let's go with the importance of keeping that inner child.
The inner child.
The inner child.
I like that because I'm 31. We both 31. But if you know us and then you hang around us, that inner child will be brought out because we embrace the inner child. I feel like growing up, it's something in society that just tell you to get rid of that inner child, that imagination that you have, and you got to deal with everything that's going to be in front of you. But when you do that, stress get built. I know there's a lot of stress get built up because we so focused on the physical and the things we got to do. But as a kid, you didn't have that worry. So that's what the inner child is. And not that you're being childish, but you got that inner child. Everybody have it. It's just some people's more suppressed. But when you can tap back into that, the stress levels go down. You can be your genuine self. Be your genuine self. Man, when you was a kid and you ain't had no worries in the world, your biggest worries was the next boss you go beat in the game. And that was your worries. And it wasn't, real. Sometimes we got to tap back into stuff like that, man.
I think one thing about the inner child is that it represents a sense of like optimism, like of hope or something. I think as a kid, no matter what, we found something to do. Like when you were a child, when you were younger, whether it was a box, whether it was the backyard, a stick, you found something fun to do. Like I think a lot of now that we're adults, we're because of our societies, whether it be our jobs, our association, or the careers we choose, we're molded into what other people want us to be. But when you're a child, you're more discovering the things that you like naturally. And I think
Right.
that to keep that essence is important. Um,
Yeah.
I know a big thing is the imagination. I think as a 30-year-old man, I'm a father now. I still have an imagination. Like I still have an like my mind still wanders to where I still am able to creatively think of things because I don't let go of my imagination. You know, and I think that's the important things because when you were a child, you let your imagination run wild. Next thing you know, you've done 5 projects.
Right.
Now they may seem like nothing, but to you as a kid, they were everything because they came straight from your mind, and nothing hindered you from carrying out those ideas. Whether it was a playhouse, a clubhouse, a fort you made with some blankets, like man, whatever you want to do as a kid, your imagination, like if you can put that into your adulthood, and that'll create more drive in you because nothing's gonna stop you from what you view in your head.
Right. And at that inner child, you didn't care what nobody thought about it.
No, no,
Today, we grow up. Now we care what people think.
yeah,
And sometimes that hold us back. And a lot of times, even the closest people to you might have a negative feedback, which can be, it can fight against that imagination you're talking about and make you feel bad about having it. But that is important, man. Having that imagination and running with it,
yeah,
whether it's gonna be successful or not.
yeah,
A lot of people don't know, but we go off our imagination because it's the subconscious.
yeah.
The feelings you have, that feeling you have, whether it's true in your mind or not, that imagination, uh, it's good to get control over that, man, because once you can get control over
Yeah.
your feelings is coming from your thoughts is coming from your intake. So when you can have good intake, control the intake that you're coming in with, the things you watch, the things you read, the music you listen to, have control over that. That way you can have better thoughts, better thinking, and then better thinking equals better feelings, and better feelings mean better actions.
That right there though, intake. What you take in is
Yeah.
what you put out. That's why I still watch cartoons, man. Look,
Oh,
I
for
collect
sure.
cartoons, man. Look, I love cartoons are important because, and I'm not talking about anime. I mean like cartoons, like from the Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, to the old Cartoon Network blocks,
Oh,
to
yeah.
the Nickelodeon.
Especially our cartoons. We
Yes,
came
the
up off
'90s kids, all the '90s
We're
kids.
gonna
We
talk
had the
about
best
that too.
cartoons.
That analog to digital, we right in the middle of that.
Yeah,
We're gonna
like
get on
we
that.
had the best cartoons, like from Recess to Rugrats. I'm talking, man, Rocket Power, Dexter Laboratory, Ed and Eddie. I can go on, but
Yeah.
these cartoons help build your imagination, and it got real. You know, it had real life stuff in it. It took me a minute to realize that everybody is Squidward. Like a lot of people I work with is Squidward. They hate their job. They hate everybody around them. But we were taught that like a lot of people are not happy in their life.
Yeah.
And you learned that from Squidward, from SpongeBob.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy because you can
That is
tell
because you can really learn something from that from SpongeBob,
you can
huh?
really learn. You can.
But then SpongeBob had that imagination, right?
Yeah.
He was more happy
Yeah.
than him
But
and
see, that's the
Patrick.
thing. In the episode, they were having so much fun with their imagination, but they're in a box, which is weird because they're technically thinking outside the box. But that's a weird analogy. But
Right.
you can see how Squidward was so he at first he was criticizing
He
them,
was
but
criticizing.
he wanted to know what they were doing. Because when you see somebody that's really on their own path or really running off their own mind, you can hate, but at the end of the day, you're gonna look and be interested in some type of form or fashion.
Yeah.
You're forced to respect it. But like you said earlier, the intake, man. That leads me to go into the next topic about social media, the danger of social media, man.
Oh, I wouldn't know nothing about that no more. Seeing as how I'm not on social media
Yeah,
for it's been like 7 years now.
yeah, man.
One of the best decisions I made. I might get back on it for business purposes, but
Yeah,
social wise, I'm
yeah.
not
Business,
knocking it.
yeah,
I'm
business
not
is
knocking it, but I
Yeah.
know me.
good.
And that goes with being self-aware. Like I know how I did when I had social media. That was the first thing I looked at when I woke up.
Yeah,
If that's something somebody, you got to be self-aware. You got to be real with yourself, and you got to understand. All right, if the first thing I'm doing when I wake up is checking my social media, man, whatever it is, Instagram, whatever they what they got now, you might want to recheck that because a lot of stuff that's on social media is not the reality.
Yeah.
But it's everybody's reality. But then what they do is what they see on social media, even though it's not always greener on the other side, they compare with their own lives, and we already know comparison is one of the biggest robbers of joy.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be happy with your life because you're looking at everything else you see on there, and 9 times out of 10, half of it is a lie.
Yeah. I think another thing that social media does, it robs us of our humanity. I think nothing is better than talking to somebody face to face, shaking hands, looking at each other in the eyes. For me personally, I know I sound like an old man, but like even DMs, like I don't know how to feel of like typing my interest to somebody. Like back then, like 20 years ago, that would have been weird. Like this dude just messaged me like, "Oh, I like your pictures." That'd be seem like this creepy.
A weirdo.
But like taking all that out and everything is digital. We're all viewing everything through a screen. You know, don't get me wrong. Social media has its perks, especially with networking for people from far away. But if your whole personality, your whole person is based off of virtual interaction with someone, like what you start to lose humanity because now you don't know how. You can tell like a lot of people don't know how to have conversations today. Like they can't look you in the eyes. They're looking everywhere else, so they can't talk about nothing that's not trending or nothing that's not popular. Or I remember I asked one person before at work, I'm like, "Do you have any hobbies?" And they looked at me like I was speaking Japanese. They were like, "Hobbies?" I'm like, "Do you like hiking? Do you like anything?"
Hobby. Do you know what a hobby is?
And they said, "I like to chill." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So you see, I don't know. The digital age is crazy, man. It has its perks, but at the same time, it drains. It drains us, man.
Yeah, digital age. I think I blame a part of it on this pandemic with men versus women. I'm not gonna get into that right. That's a whole nother conversation. But it's a cold war, and it ain't even a cold war no more. It's out there now. Men versus women. Like when we was made to be here, we was made to be congruent with each other. But we at war with each other.
Yeah.
And I think a part of that some of it got to do with the social media age. Because
like,
people, you can't get no genuine person.
Because you got women comparing themselves with men, and men comparing themselves with women.
The comparison thing.
Where you can't really compare men and women. They're different.
It shouldn't be compared. Yeah. But like you said, people can't even hold conversations. Back when when I was on that, when we was younger without the internet, what we was doing, going to the movies.
Man, you remember writing a girl? You had to
going to the mall.
You had to write a girl's number down. If you lost that number, it's over. Like,
but you had to have a conversation. You had to approach the girl. Men want to be approached, or men don't approach at all. Yeah, they don't know how.
Or they're quick to approach through a DM. Like that's to me. That's crazy. Because
you're not right there. That's easy for me to just type something.
Just to type away on cyberspaces. If I feel some type of way, I'm gonna type away. You know what I'm saying? Like that's weird. Like I feel some type of way about you, I'm gonna type away. Like that's weird to me.
Bar. But yeah,
it's a bar.
Nah, but that's something that if we could reverse that, man, or not even reverse it, but if people can just put it in check, like social media is cool, but keep it in check.
Yeah.
And still, like you said, be humans. A mind is a great thing that was created. Animals, they don't have the minds that humans have.
Yeah.
Animals are comfortable in their habitat where they are.
Yeah.
Because they are programmed that way. A lion is a lion. A dog is a dog.
Yeah.
Humans, we were created, had free will, but we are very chaotic in our habitat.
Yeah.
Because we can think however we want to think, but we're living in a day and age where nobody is genuine. A man don't want to be a man, and a woman don't want to be a woman.
Yeah.
And they're but like I said, that's a whole nother topic as far as the man versus women thing. But everything really connects. Like anything we could talk about connects at the end of the day. Like going back to just imagination and going back to keeping that inner child. You will be your genuine self.
Yeah.
You can still be on social media and do that, but you still gonna have that inner child and be your genuine self and not unapologetically. You're not gonna care what somebody think about it.
Yeah.
As long as you ain't hurting nobody and harming nobody in no type of way.
Yeah.
And that person, whoever you are, and the building a relationship with, whether it's a friendship or a relationship, that person should accept you for who you are. And if they don't, there's many of us.
Yeah.
There's many of us here.
Yeah.
So,
The thing is, you. The thing is, the first relationship you have is with yourself. And
for
the
sure.
thing about social
For
media
sure.
that you're searching for validation from an outside source. External validation means nothing if you do not validate yourself. You have to validate yourself, because if you are depending on an exposition value, which means you're depending on getting value of something you put up, you are
In that
at the
social,
mercy of the public.
exactly.
You're at the You're basically saying like, "Hey, am I worth it, guys? Hey, guys, am I worth it? Do you like me? Do you like me now, man? Let me tell you something, man. I know a girl at work. She put up a picture, and she was frustrated. And I asked her, I'm like, are you okay? Now mind you, she was. I ain't gonna say she was about to cry, but she was like upset. And I'm like, you good? And she was like, oh no, I just nobody liked my picture. I put up a real nice picture. Nobody liked it. I must be ugly. And I just thought like, but how did you feel about it? Did you like the picture?
No.
So you're depending on someone else.
You're
to
gonna
say,
lose every time
Yeah.
if you live like
and
that.
not to be, you ain't got to be cocky about yourself, but at the same time, it's like, why are you dependent upon someone else's, thumbs up for you?
Yeah,
You know,
that's actually poisonous. It's a poisonous way of thinking.
it's very,
It's a poisonous way
Very.
of thinking. You're actually making yourself a slave, because it's dependent. If you ever is dependent on external, if your happiness is dependent on external things and people, then you're living in a very poisonous mindset.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose every time because
yeah,
everybody not gonna accept the way you think, the way you like, or the way you feel about yourself.
exactly.
You have to become content. It's like you said, you have to validate yourself first.
Yeah,
You have to love yourself.
love yourself. You love yourself first.
Do that work.
Now, with that being said, another thing that social media promotes is what I call victimhood culture. Now, when I say victimhood culture, basically everybody is a victim. Everybody loves being a victim.
Right. Love being a victim. Elaborate on love being a victim.
Yeah, so basically everybody wants to express how they're downtrodden, they're tore up, they're beaten up, the world is against them.
Oh, I get you.
And gain some type of sympathy. Where it's like, truth be told, not to sound insensitive, everybody goes through something.
It's a fact.
So to feel like you're the only person that goes through anything or whatever you go through is the most, it's nobody could ever understand it. It comes off as extremely selfish, and it comes off as even an entitlement to actually believe that you are one of a kind when it comes to suffering. Life itself is suffering. Life itself is pain, but it's not about sulking in it. It's about overcoming the pain. And we all go through stuff, traumas, injuries, heartbreaks, disasters. But man, I'm telling you, like especially in America, it's this victimhood. Everybody is hurt. Everybody's a victim.
That's because we're living in the free country, the world where everybody feelings matter.
Yeah.
No matter what those feelings are, you got that right. And you're right, it does. That does turn into entitlement. And everybody entitled. Now, once something happened to you, you're owed something.
Yeah.
And if you ain't getting it, then you run around throwing tantrums and stuff. So,
Like you owe me something. Like somebody owe me something.
yeah,
Yeah.
somebody owe me something,
Yeah.
right? It ain't even specifically. It's just somebody owe me something, and you next thing you know,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. That victimhood.
Yeah. I was talking to a person, this was recently, I won't say their names. I was talking to a person and, in this situation with this person, it pretty much was their fault on everything. But I was explaining everything logically to them and they just burst out like, I'm the victim. But they said it in a way of like, they were proud. like as if they're saying they gotta, as if it's an accolade. Like I'm a victim. Like, bro, that's not. You don't want to be a victim. I never want. I'm a victim. Like, So I think that's another thing. But that's why it's just important to keep a balance. Keep a balance with social media. Keep a balance with it. Use it as a tool, not as a resource for life itself. So exactly.
Man, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us, man. It's like we said, it's our first shot. We just had to see. We just wanted to catch the feeling on it, man. I think
catch the fade, man.
We can get used to this.
Yeah, we gonna liven up, man. We just want to kind of get real. There's a couple things that was on our minds. You know what I'm saying?
There's a couple more things too, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will, man.
Then we will liven up.
Yeah, for sure. So this has been Free Noise Podcast, man. We're gonna holler back at y'all, man. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time.
Appreciate y'all. Love y'all.